You're listening to Psych to Parent, where we turn brain science into tiny wins at home. I'm Dr. Amy, your not-so-typical school psychologist, mom of two, and endurance athlete. I love a good data set and a diagnostic manual. But I also forget permission slips, overthink IEP emails, and occasionally replay the moment I snapped at my kids in the car. In other words, I'm in the messy middle with you, not above it. This show is for parents of big feeling, big thinking kids who are tired of vague advice and Pinterest perfect behavior charts. Each episode, I'll pull back the curtain on what I see in real evaluations, school meetings, my private practice, and my own kitchen, and translate the research into simple scripts, tiny routines, and nervous system friendly tweaks you can actually use. Think of it as a nervous system rehab meets mindset coaching meets a smart, slightly spicy, non-judgy friend in your earbuds. We'll take one real life challenge at a time and shrink it down into 1 or 2 tiny wins you can start this week. No perfection, no 47-step sticker systems, just small, repeatable shifts that add up over time. Quick legal-ish note in plain English. This podcast is for education and support. It's not therapy, it does not create a clinical relationship, and it's not a substitute for personalized medical or mental health advice. If you're worried about your child's safety or mental health, or your own, please reach out to a trusted professional. Okay, deep breath, drop your shoulders. You're not behind and you're not alone. Let's get psyched to parent. It's 4:12 in the afternoon. The front door sticks for half a second, and when it finally gives, the whole house gets hit with it. Backpacks thud, shoes fly, somebody's hungry in a way that feels personal. You can hear the zip, zip, zip of the lunchbox, the Velcro rip of sneakers, and then that phrase, you know the one. I'm not doing it. It's not, I can't or I need help, just I'm not. Absolute refusal. And your voice is trying to be normal and calm, but it's already got that tight edge to it. Hey, bud, snack first, then we start our homework. And your kid, who had a great day at school, looks you dead in the face like you've asked them to file taxes. No, it's stupid. I hate it. You can't make me. And here's the part parents don't say out loud. You can feel the heat rise up in your chest. Your jaw locks. Your hand even does that little twitch like it's looking for a job. You're not proud of it, but your brain is yelling, if I don't shut this down right now, this is going to take the whole night. Then you have the sibling who starts narrating everything. Maybe the dog starts barking. Someone is whining, I'm hungry. And you can feel yourself one sentence away from becoming the parent you swore you wouldn't be. The one who yells, or maybe even thinks, I want to spank my kid. And this is where I pause parents and say, you're not a bad parent. You're a parent at capacity. We're not summiting Everest today. We're trying to get to the next rest stop without anybody getting hurt physically or emotionally. Welcome, this is Psych to Parent. Today we're talking about the exact edge when you want to yell, or you feel the urge to spank, or you can tell your nervous system is about to pick the fastest, make it stop button. Here's my promise, and it's a 2-track promise. We're not endorsing spanking or yelling, and we're also not doing permissive parenting. Your kid can be mad and you can stay in charge. Here's a quick safety note, because we're being real today. If you're worried you might hurt your kid, space and safety comes first. Step behind a door, put a baby gate between you, call in another adult if you can. This is not giving in. This is you preventing harm and staying in charge of yourself. If you've been around a minute or two with the Psych to Parent podcast, you've heard me talk about my favorite place where I go for regulation when I need a minute. I go hide in my laundry room for 90 seconds, shut the door, and take a few deep breaths before I engage with my kids. Today, I'm going to give you the brain-based why behind the urge, a memorable in-the-moment protocol for those 4:15 afternoon moments, how to repair if you've crossed a line already with your kid, and a school psych lens for why your kid can be fine at school and fall apart at home. If you've ever whispered to yourself, who am I right now? You're not alone, and you're not doomed to keep repeating it. Let's take the shame out of our parenting practices and understand the why behind the behavior. If you've been thinking, I know better, why am I still snapping? I want you to hear this. Bodies react before good parent brain comes online. That doesn't excuse harm, but it explains the urge, and it shows us where to intervene. And here's a little spicy truth. Calm is a direction, not a personality type. A lot of us were taught, directly or indirectly, that good parenting means you just override your nervous system. Like you're supposed to be this serene monk while someone is screaming, I hate you, because you asked them to put on socks. And if you can't do that, you must be broken. No, not at all. Your nervous system is doing what nervous systems do. When you're flooded, your nervous system goes into threat mode. For many parents, the default is fight. Louder voice, faster pace, urge to corner the kid into compliance, urge to win so the night doesn't derail. That fight urge isn't you being bad. It's your body reading the moment as urgent plus unsafe plus I need control right now. And with strong-willed, big-feeling kids, the intensity is real. Their refusal can feel like a personal attack, especially after school when everyone's hungry and touched out and tired. Let's talk about dashboard lights, like on a car. Those are kind of your early body cues that help you predict those urges you might feel to yell or spank your kids. Some of the clues might be your jaw clenches, your chest feels hot, your hands tighten into fists, you start talking fast, you have tunnel vision, and then you have that thought on repeat of, I have to shut this down now, right now. Your job is not to delete those cues. Your job is to treat them like a dashboard light. It's your body's way of saying, oh, I'm at a 7 out of 10 right now. Because consequences delivered from a 9 out of 10 are rarely teaching. They're usually discharge. When the moment passes, we feel really gross about it. That's where the shame starts to creep in. So today we're building a plan that interrupts the escalation loop without letting your kid run the house. Okay, I want to zoom out for a second and talk research because this isn't just Dr. Amy has opinions about this. There's research backing what I'm telling you. Here's what we know about physical punishment, like spanking and hitting. The American Academy of Pediatrics has a policy statement advising against physical punishment and verbal abuse. And the reason is not because parents are bad. It's because discipline works best when it's protective, consistent, and skill building rather than fear-based. In plain language, if the long-term goal is self-regulation and problem solving, fear doesn't build those skills. Coaching does. Structure does. Relationships do. And there's a big body of research here that's shown that spanking is associated with more negative outcomes overall. And importantly, it doesn't show evidence of improved behavior in the long run. So even if spanking works in the sense that the behavior stops in that moment, research suggests it's not supporting the long. Now, here's what we know when it comes to harsh verbal discipline, like yelling and shaming. There's also research on harsh verbal discipline. One longitudinal study found that harsh verbal discipline predicted increases in adolescents' conduct problems and depressive symptoms over time. They also found a loop effect. Adolescent misconduct predicted increases in harsh verbal discipline. In other words, escalation becomes a cycle. And this part matters. Parental warmth didn't cancel out the association. So being a loving parent and also using harsh verbal discipline still carried risk, which is why I'm so serious about tools for the moment right before you snap. Because most parents are not choosing to be harsh, they're feeling flooded. The American Psychological Association has a resolution that physical discipline is not effective for long-term goals and is linked with increased risk of negative outcomes. And it encouraged parent education and non-physical discipline strategies. It's kind of like why you should listen to the podcast, right? And the CDC emphasizes prevention through building safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments. And that caregiver support and skill building reduce risk and improve outcomes. So here's the bridge. If we want less yelling, less spanking, less regret, less guilt and shame, we don't just need better rules. We need better nervous system supports for the parent and the child. That's what we're doing here today. This is where my school psychologist brain kicks in because a lot of what you're seeing at home has clues in what's happening at school. If your child is great at school and then melts down at home, I'm not thinking your kid's manipulating you. I'm usually thinking that your kid used every ounce of regulation at school. And like a phone battery, by the time they get home, it is drained. Home is the place where their body finally lets go. There's an earlier episode on the podcast about Coke bottle kids. I'll make sure I link it in the show notes for this episode, but it talks about the pop and the release that we see with kids oftentimes after school. This is called in the research the after school restraint collapse. And getting back on track for this episode, I think this is where parents get accidentally gaslit because a teacher will say, "Oh, they're fine." And you're like, "Yeah, that's cool, but they're feral in my kitchen, like a raccoon digging through a trash can." And this is where I want you to remember, same kid, different math. I'll say that forever. So what do we do with that? We look for patterns and capacity leaks. Things like transitions, the end of the day, demand heavy tasks. Maybe it's writing, multi-step directions, sustained attention, sensory load, the recovery time. How long does it take them to come back online after stress when they're having big feelings and dysregulated? Because if the day is holding it together, holding it together, holding it together, and then 412 happens, it's not a bad kid kind of moment. It's a nervous system kind of moment. And you need a plan that matches the nervous system reality. Here's the tool I want to talk about today. I call it the rest stop tool. Here's the rule I want you to follow. Here's something I teach in my practice. I talk a lot about emotions with children, and I talk about how emotions can be small, medium, or big. And I oftentimes ask kids to identify how they feel, but how big it feels, usually using a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a really small feeling and 10 being a really big feeling. Here's the rule I want you to borrow. If I'm at a 7 out of 10, I take a rest stop before I take a consequence. I take a rest stop before I implement a consequence for my child. Not because consequences are bad, because consequences delivered while you are flooded are usually not consequences. They're a stress response to the situation. A rest stop is a short interrupt. It's a pause, not like a full yoga retreat, like 60 seconds. The rest stop has 4 moves: lower words, lower demands, make it safe, come back online. Let me see the 4 steps one more time. Lower words, lower demands, make it safe, come back online. Let me translate this. Lower words. When you're flooded, your brain wants to talk more, explain more, convince more, lecture more. Lower words means 1 sentence, maybe 2. Not because your kid is dumb, because no one can process language well when their nervous system is spiking. 2, lower demands. Lower demands doesn't mean no expectations. It means shrink the ask to the next doable step. Number 3, make it safe. It can mean you stepping back because your proximity is escalating both you and your kid. Number 4, come back online. This is a part I see parents skip a lot. We go from I'm furious to now I'm going to be calm and wise. That's not how the body works. Coming back online can be doing something to help you regulate yourself. Maybe it's having a drink of cold water, putting your feet on the floor and grounding yourself. Maybe it's stopping to take 1 long inhale and slow exhale. Maybe it's stepping into the hallway or hiding in the laundry room like me. Maybe it's rubbing some cold water on your wrists or squeezing your hands and releasing on purpose. And sometimes it's just saying to your family or your kid, I'm taking 60 seconds. I'm coming back. I need a pause. That sentence alone is regulation modeling for your kids. Now I'm going to run through 3 scenes, and I want you to imagine your kid, your house, your exact chaos. Let's talk about scene number 1, after school homework refusal. You get the refusal of, I'm not doing it. And your old move might be, excuse me, don't talk to me like that. You're being disrespectful. If you don't do it right now, no screens for a week. And you can feel your body building, the tension in your chest. Rest stop sounds like this. Whoa, I'm getting too mad to talk kindly right now. I'm going to take 60 seconds. You're safe. And then I'm coming back. Then you do the 60-second pause. Then you come back with a smaller plan. Let's have a snack first. Take 10 minutes to decompress. Then we're doing 2 problems together. Should we set the timer on the microwave or my phone? And if your kid yells no, you keep your words low. I hear you. 2 problems first, then a break. You're not negotiating the whole night. You're just not lighting the match. Here's scene number 2. I see this a lot with bedtime stalling. Bedtime is where even calm parents become not calm. It's almost like the culmination of everything that you've done for the day has stacked up or the piled up, and you're holding on by a thread sometimes. Because bedtime is when you are done. Your nervous system is done, and you've been on since like 6:30 in the morning. So the stalling begins. One more snack, one more drink of water, one more question, one more confession, one more, I'm itchy. A rest stop at bedtime is mostly lower words and lower demands. You keep it boring. The plan is brush teeth, put on pajamas, one song, night night. Then you offer a tiny autonomy choice. Hop like a bunny or walk like a robot. Usually when you ask a silly question, it can help kind of divert the conversation and make kids kind of comply with what we're asking them to do. You don't really care if they hop or walk like a robot to go to the bathroom to brush their teeth. You just want them to brush their teeth. If they melt and get upset, you can say to your kid, you can be mad, we're still doing the plan. And if you're at a 7, you can step back and say, I'm hitting the pause button and I'm taking 60 seconds so I don't yell. Not a debate, just information. Scene number 3 I see it oftentimes is the morning rush. Morning is where your brain wants to threaten consequences you can't enforce because you have jobs and buses exist, right? So we shrink the ask. Next step only, put your shoes on. And we add support instead of speeches. I'll hold the shoe open, you push your foot in. Then we teach later. Because morning is not a classroom, morning is triage. Okay, here are a few parenting scripts that you could try. Same words, pick a few that work for you, repeat them all week, same words, less thinking. Script number 1, when you're about to yell or spank. Whoa, my body is in fight mode. I'm taking 60 seconds so I can stay kind and firm. You're safe. I'm coming back. Script number 2, firm safety boundary. I won't let you hit. Hands are for helping, not hitting. I'm moving my body back. Script number 3, refusal without a power struggle. I hear you don't want to. The plan is still the plan. You can be mad and do it with me, or you can be mad and do it yourself. What's your choice? And I want to pause here and name something. Those scripts are not magic. They work because they keep you out of the debate and in the leadership lane. While we try our best as parents, sometimes we snap and make mistakes. And because we're humans, sometimes we still snap and make mistakes. That's where repair comes in. Repair isn't groveling. Repair is leadership. Try saying something like this. I messed up. I yelled because I was feeling really big feelings, not because you deserved it. I'm sorry I yelled. Next time, I'm going to pause my body first. Do you want a hug, space, or can we do a redo? Repair teaches your kid mistakes happen and we come back. If your kid will tolerate it when you say things like, can we rewind? I'm going to try that again in calmer voice. Then you say the same limit with fewer words. This is how you teach conflict and repair as a life skill, not a shame spiral. If you want school to be on the same page, here's a copy and paste email you can send to the school. Let's talk about the school translator a minute here. Especially if you want the school to be on the same page, here's a quick email you can send. Hi, teacher. We're working at home on staying calm and consistent when my child is flooded. When they're dysregulated, long lectures and back and forth escalates things. Could we try a shared plan? Maybe a brief limit, like work time, a quick break option, and then a reset and recovery? I'd also love to know what you noticed right before the refusal and what helps them recover fastest. Thank you. That type of email is collaborative. It's not a novel. It's same kid, different math in action. Let's talk tiny wins. Pick one. One is enough. We don't need a full life overhaul. Tiny win number 1. Choose one body cue that predicts you snapping. Is it your jaw, your chest, talking fast, a brain spiral, a thinking spiral? And notice it this week. Tiny win number 2, put a sticky note where you snip and write on it, rest, stop first. Tiny win number 3, do a 60-second pause once a day when you're not mad. This is training the muscle, so you can use it when you need it. Tiny win number 4, add an after-school buffer, a snack, and 10 minutes of decompression time before demands. No deep talks, no homework lectures, no how was your day interrogation. Tiny win number 5, repair within 30 minutes when you blow it. Pick one, one's enough. Before you go, if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, but the school piece is part of why I'm so triggered because I feel like I'm constantly managing the fallout, I want to give you something practical. I have a free resource called the School Psych in Your Back Pocket, the School Testing Toolkit. It walks you through what to ask for, what to look for, and how to make sense of school testing without needing a doctorate or a 14 email thread. So if you're in that season of is it ADHD, anxiety, learning, something else, this is for you. And if you want more scripts and tiny doable steps without shame spirals, join my Tiny Wins email list. I send an email every Friday with practical tips, tools, and resources that you can use with your kiddo. And please share this episode with a friend. Truly. If you know a parent who is living in that 412 window, text them a link to the episode and say, this made me feel less alone. I'm really honored to be one of the people cheering you on as you parent your strong-willed, big-feeling kiddo, especially in that very specific window where the socks are off, the water bottles have disappeared into the ether, and it's somehow still your job to be calm about it. Like, okay. If you remember 2 things from today, let it be this. Your body is giving you dashboard lights. Listen early. And rest stop before consequences. Lower words, lower demands, make it safe, come back online. And if you've crossed a line, repair counts. I yelled because I was flooded, not because you deserved it. Pause your body, then repair with honesty. That combination changes a house and a family over time. We'll keep making the homeschool puzzle less mysterious together, one better question at a time, one same kid, different math reminder at a time, one reset before requests after school, one .log sentence, one email that's clear and firm without being a novel, and the next time you sit at that tiny round table in that tiny chair, remember, schools have expertise, and you are the expert on your child. Your insight is not extra, it's essential. You're not behind, you're building a partnership, and you're building skills, yours and theirs, one small, doable step at a time. Thank you for hanging out with me on Psych to Parent. I'm Dr. Amy, your not-so-typical school psychologist, and I'm genuinely glad you're here doing this work instead of quietly white-knuckling it and blaming yourself. Your tiny win from today's episode is simple. Do not overhaul your entire parenting style. Pick one idea, one sentence, or one tiny shift and try it in a low-stakes moment this week. Then notice what changes, even if it is just by 1%. If you want more support, head over to psych2parent.com. You'll find show notes, simple scripts, and parent-friendly guides that go with these episodes. While you're there, make sure you join the Tiny Wins mailing list so you get weekly brain-based tips, real-life examples from my work with families, and first dibs on new workshops and resources. It's the easiest way for us to stay connected beyond the podcast. If this podcast was helpful, it really does matter when you tap follow or subscribe. Leave a quick review or text it to a friend who is parenting a big-feeling, big-hearted kid too. This podcast is for education and encouragement. It is not therapy, and it's not a substitute for individualized care. If you're worried about your child or yourself, please reach out to a trusted professional in your area. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are building something new, one tiny win at a time. I'll see you in the next episode, probably with a cold coffee in hand, cheering you on.